Good evening, Nairobi. Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming back on. Today we're taking a good look at, first of all, Bitcoin. This has been an interesting move to watch, especially when it just started shooting up. People are finally saying that this is that move to the 500K, and it has just begun. Well, we're just making previous highs. I'm on the 1 hour chart. I'm looking at the Bitcoin, USD, and let's take a look at it from the daily. As I said, it has been interesting to watch. If you look at this closely, you'll notice that these are the previous highs. So we haven't really breached this resistance point, and once we get through this ceiling, we get over and above the ceiling, it would definitely be something worth watching. But this move was pretty strong, tells you that a lot is going on. If you've been reading the news, a lot is going on. Please check it out. Here, look at that. BlackRock sees 872 million inflows. There was more news. I think let's just open that up, since we're definitely going to the fundamentals to take a look at that. But it has been interesting watching what's going on, especially with the Chinese side. The Chinese are at it again, and definitely worth watching this. China, always we have to be careful with news that are coming out into the grapevine. China seems like they're going to cushion the economy using Bitcoin. For that reason, people are speculating that prices will rise higher to record highs. But as we see here clearly, we haven't quite breached this last price point of around 73.5, 73K yet. And once we do breach this ceiling, as I said before, then this will be worth watching. But with all the news coming out, definitely Bitcoin is something to watch towards this end of 2024, 2025. Keeping a keen and a close look at it. I'm into Bitcoin. It's in my portfolio, and I think it's a good thing to get some. But right now, if you do get in, it will be for speculation purposes, because you can tell already by the chart this is at its high. So we want to get in when the streets are red. But with Bitcoin, you can't really go wrong. As long as you keep on buying, I believe quite a good time to enter, I think, would be around 69 is what I observed. 69. Yes, this would be a good floor to enter in at. So we're going to be keenly looking at Bitcoin throughout the next week to see what's really going on there. If this will change, if volumes will cause there to be a massive move to the upside, the breaching of this definitely is what we're watching. So let's go to the fundamentals. And today being the 31st of October, last day of October, we've noticed some news coming up from the US dollar and the Canadian dollar as well. And we've noticed that not quite much movement, because you can see the unemployment claims green, meaning that the dollar is stronger, probably countered a bit by the employment cost index going down, going red. And this pretty much remaining the same, the core PCE price index also remaining the same. I think this is the one that would could have caused some volatility. Also, like, we need to take a look at tomorrow. There will be a French bank holiday and Italian bank holiday. So for that reason, there won't be much liquidity in probably the euro markets. And for that reason, there probably will be either low or very high, abnormally high volatility in that area. So good to keep a very close look at the euro and the European market there to see if these bank holidays will affect. I wouldn't touch them even with a long pull. Steer clear of over these currencies that are affected by bank holidays. But on the other hand, if there is a movement to my advantage, I will jump in. So let's look at the market to see what advantages we have. So far, we're looking at the daily market and quickly go to the Australian dollar, the Aussie yen. And as we had observed earlier, I see that we are probably reaching some highs. I'm waiting for a pullback of sorts, and it hasn't come in yet stronger. It's definitely moving to the downside. So keenly observing this, I'm looking to enter for a movement up. We'll look at the numbers probably tomorrow as we're planning for next week. We see what are the best numbers to enter in at. Am I seeing a good time to enter yet? No. On the daily, not clear. On the hourly, let's see how that's going also. You see this? I don't like this ranging, but this sudden drop over this range is a good indicator something's going on, but it's not yet strong enough for us to actually sit up and take note of. So just be observing that. We will be observing that keenly. Okay, that's a Aussie yen. This I like this movements that are coming up on the pound yen. Did you see this? Did you see this? It's a sell-off. Price discounts of sorts. Something worth looking at. I am seeing a setup coming up. I am seeing a very clear setup coming up. Not going down with it, but I'm waiting to take in an entry for the upside. And probably I wasn't quite so sure about this one. I've been looking at it and I've been thinking probably there's a complete change of the trend. And I was keenly observing this, and I was looking for a better price to enter for the upside. And I'm not yet quite convinced whether it is a good time to enter into the upside. Definitely not. But this huge movement, you can see we're still in the seller's market in this side. And this already tells me that sellers are still in. Sellers are still in. All we need to find out is if these buyers are still interested in coming in at a better price. And with that, if that is so, once we see that setting up, we probably can give it a shot. But for now, just keenly observing, watching, but liking this because we're waiting for this movement. If you remember the last 2 days, I mentioned the yen pairs, the ones which are actively moving. They seem to have been already topping the prices, hitting the highs. And if this is so, this is worth watching out for. And we'll keep taking a look at that. So let me drop down to the 1 hour. See if he is convinced as we are on the daily chart. Are you seeing this? This was the last when there was a huge price movement. This was the last high best price that was offered before a major discount was given and a sell-off kicked in. So we need to take a look at this. We have to be very keen on this, very keen. But that's not really the price that I'm looking out for as much as this price right here. That's the one. It's the one that was the last best entry. That's at 195.087, and the yen, the pound yen, that was the last best price entry, and I'm keenly observing to see what will happen at this point. Very keen, because it already breached this last high price over here. That's why I was saying I wasn't quite so sure about entering in for an up. I'm waiting for better prices to drop down, and we'll see if we'll be able to get in, though it's setting up for a good entry point, if that is so. But we're keenly looking to see if it's still a buyer's market. Look at that. It is. We're on the uptrend, and we have to be keen on that as well. So I've looked at the Bitcoin, I've looked at the Aussie yen, the pound yen, and let's look at the dollar yen. Because of the news that came out today, we expected at least some more movement, which was, you can tell. Question is, are you seeing any setups, any moves that are in our favor? Market is still on an uptrend. We're keenly observing to see whether we're going to still have a chance to get in for the up, whether it's still a market for the buyers. So for that reason, we're not selling at this point. I don't like taking entries that are against the trend. And especially on this lower time frames, unless I'm jumping in for a very short period and jumping out, and unless I've really done a keen deep analysis to make sure that indeed it won't stop me out, the prices won't stop me out. I'm waiting for the volumes to kick in for the upside as well. That being said, the euro yen, let's take a look at that at least before we call it an evening. As I said, same thing happened. It looks like, of course, we're getting to the top of the prices. Yes, we are. But it looks like there's still one more movement for up on the up. Is it a good time to enter? Oh, seemingly there was a good time of entry. This 164.932 would have been the best to enter. Means already it's on an uptrend. Well, the price that I would have set for jumping out would have been right there at around 166.096. I don't usually ride the waves all the way to the beach. I do jump out right before. But if it hasn't topped yet, because we're looking at this huge red candle tells us that it's already a sell-off here. Yes, there are buys that are coming in strong. A very weak drop in price. This discount actually encouraged more buyers to come in, and we can see the prices have gone down all the way. Let's look at the 15-minute for this one, for the euro yen, just in case we can get a good entry for people who want to just come in for a short trade today, probably this evening. Okay, and looking at that, yes, I am seeing as the last best entry was right there at 164.922. Would have been a good entry, of course. Just for back testing, we missed this move. It's a 140 pip move. Is there a good entry coming up yet? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. If there was, would have taken it. Usually when a good entry shows up on the 1 hour, I go down to smaller time frames to ride the wave just for a short period and jump out for a few pips just for the sake of nothing risky, very risk averse, but worth taking note of, worth taking a look at. This is the euro yen, and I'm on the 5-minute chart. If you look at this, now I will tell you not yet a good price to come in. It's still moving down. You can see the sales are still so strong. We don't jump in. See, very little movement on the up. A good discount is given. Still not a convincing jumping in. We're waiting for there to be some movement in the markets to tell us that people are still interested in this euro yen pair. And we remember that tomorrow there are 2 bank holidays for the French and the Italian markets. For that reason, volatility will be high on the euro market, but volumes will be low. Liquidity will also be low because of the bank holiday. So for that reason, this will be something to just slightly observe, not keenly so. We haven't seen yet a convincing setup coming up for a good entry. There was one, would have taken it. This was a very good indication. This is what I used as an indication of a good price entry up. And I looked at this earlier, and this is what I saw. Oh yes, for those who are willing to take a bit of a risk. At this point at 165.681 for the risk takers, and the stop loss right underneath at 165.638. I usually keep it tight because if it doesn't fit the bill, then it's not worth it. So 165.681 would be a good entry. It's not yet quite touched it. We don't know whether the train has left the station already. This was the movement for it. Is there much difference in price point right now from where we are? 12 pips. 12 pip movement, they say it's coming in. So we just wait and see whether it will actually kick in. And if it does, a good place to get out would be, let's see where we'll be. The next best entry would be around 165.632, and if it doesn't get there, get out. Just get out because the setup is not yet complete. We're waiting for it to show up, and it's not yet showing up convincingly. We haven't seen any movement up yet. We're seeing there's a lot of sideways movement of sorts, very little choppy movements which are not nice. Not convinced yet. The 1 minute, let's see. This is just for confirmation for very tight entries, not like we're looking at entering right now. The 1 minute is telling us to stay standby. There probably is an entry coming in soon. Yes, so we are on standby. We're on standby on that. Well, pretty much on the money. Okay, I see you. So let's see, this does kick in, and kicking in fast fast. This price, this is interesting. There's a price here that it keeps showing up at 165.589 would be the second best entry. 165.589. Worth observing, worth taking a look at. That's a euro yen. That's just a trade if you'd like to take. The first take profit or the last take profit, I would stop at right there, 166.550. If you really want to really go for it, 166.550. If you're risk averse, probably can take the 166.213. Good place to jump out of. If it does favor you and move you to the upside. Well, that is that. That gives you a quick 50 pips. Or an 80 pip movement. 50 to 80 pips right there. Let's see how that goes, whether we're right on the money or not. I'm not keen on taking that trade because I'm not yet convinced. Well, that's that. Bitcoin it is, and still on the yen pairs. We'll take a look at other pairs tomorrow, and probably if we do have time over the weekend as we set up for the week ahead. Well, thank you for joining. I do appreciate this. Thank you. Have a great evening, Nairobi.